What's up, LoreHounds? iTZKooPA inside the Cryptozoic booth. I'm here with Christina Sims, the brand ambassador for Cryptozoic. We're actually checking out something very particular, very connected to this convention. It's the PAX card game.
Yeah, the Penny Arcade deck building game is actually, we've got two separate games out. The first one was Penny Arcade Gamers vs. Evil. The second one is Rumble and Relay, and Rumble and Relay is considered an expansion, but it is actually standalone, and we'll be showing that here today.
So it's actually a deck building game. So everybody these are the cards, and then you start from there, right?
Correct. What you're trying to do is either defeat the bosses or empty out the decks on the board by choosing your hero, which will give you a certain amount of currency tied to it. The Ultimate PAX Mega Fan is one of our promos for PAX East. He's plagued, as many of us may be. They start with a certain amount of currency. Quarters and tubes. Quarters will give you tokens, which are used to purchase the green cards on the board, while tubes give you power and are used to purchase the red cards. The gold cards in the middle cost both power and tokens to purchase, but are more powerful.
It's a hybrid of the two different types.
And then the object of the game is to amass victory points, and victory points are listed as stars on the bottom left-hand corner of the card. Whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game is going to win. The red cards are going to have victory points, while the green cards will not. So the green cards are more powerful, but they don't give you that win condition. The red cards are a bit weaker, but at the end of the game, that's really what you want. The gold cards are going to have victory points, and all of the boss cards are going to have victory points as well. So depending on what route you want to go with building your deck, you can either build a lot of the red cards, but you're probably going to build slower than somebody building a lot of green cards.
So the bosses that we're actually fighting and trying to kill, do they have different abilities? Because there's a selection of bosses that we just randomly choose, right?
Correct. You always want to have a green, a gold, and a red boss on the board. The red bosses are usually like the evil bosses, while the green bosses are much more beneficial. The red cards are usually going to do bad things to your opponents, while the green cards are going to be very, very helpful for you. Tycho's grandma is an excellent example of someone who's kind and generous, while Cthulhu, definitely more on the evil side. Knight Gabriel is usually used to be more of a protector.
So we obviously see it's the same, idea of the comic, the same art and stuff, and we even see there's a lot of connection. They make references, as you said, his grandmother is here. So how far does that go?
It even references some other games, like in the case of Monkey King Gabe. But in the case of like nipple crabs or even touch wieners, you'll see those cards in the comic, and they're pretty iconic and hilarious. Also, I don't know if you got a shot of this one, but the super hot ostrich, another one of my favorites.
Personal favorites. So we actually, not only do we choose who we're going to do battle with, but we choose our heroes. So what sets them apart? There
are a wide variety of heroes to choose from, and both games are interchangeable, so you can actually mix both decks and always have a different gameplay experience. And each hero is going to have a different amount of currency that you start with, and they also have powers that will give you kind of a leg up as the game goes on. Some cards will even give you additional cards that you put in your deck to start with, and if you pull those cards, they're generally very, very powerful. Otherwise, the heroes usually have ongoing abilities that trigger if a certain requirement is met.
So what about the length of the game? What can we expect?
About 30 minutes to 45 minutes if you have a good understanding of the rules, but probably about 45 to an hour if you're just learning.
And how many players can play?
This is a 4-player game.
And actually, you guys are selling it right now, but it's not out until next week, correct?
Correct. We have sold out of both Gamers vs. Evil and Rumble and Relay, and it's only the second day.
And it costs how much?
It is $44.99.
And the official release date is?
Next week.
Well, thanks so much. It looks fun.
Thank you.
Thanks.